Hey guys, how's it going? Onach here, and welcome to a new Formula SimRacing League race. So it's obviously the Pro Division, the Pro Series, and it's the fourth round actually. It's around Imola, which is obviously a very classic track in San Marino. I always get confused with San Marino and Italy, but I think San Marino is like really close in Italy, if not in Italy. But anyway, this is Q1. And you can see me getting out there on track as it's quite busy. Someone goes actually off track there on this outlap. I'm sure he was on an outlap. I saw him behind me in the pit, so I didn't hold him up or anything. Hold him up. So first of all, I have done some work. Well, basically I haven't done some work, but a very good friend of mine has done some work. As you can see on top of the screen, it says Q1. Basically my friend has created some kind of TV style, so just like you see in real Formula 1 with the laps, and you will see it during this race. I mean, it's really awesome, and so a big shout out to my friend Jamie, epic Dutch guy. I mean, it looks really good in my opinion, and you will see it during the race. It makes life a lot easier, because I do realize that we missed some kind of information, you know, and it's still really hard to get stuff up like gaps. I mean, that's really hard to make, and it will take me a couple of hours, and I simply just don't have that time. But anyway, this is Q1, so you can run 3 setups. So your setups which you use now, you can change them before the race, which will not be like, it won't be like that in Q2. So here we go. This is going to be my quickest lap in qualifying 1. It was actually my final attempt, as we have 10 minutes to do a lap. So you could do 3 runs, and here we go. Then this is going to be my lap as we go on board now through the first couple of corners. This is actually turn 3, and now we head down to turn 4, which is this little left-hander. It's quite tricky left-hander, you want to get it right. And this is turn 5, 6. Bit too far off the apex there. You can see there ran a little bit wide. That cost me a little bit of time. 22.4 is my first sector time, which is not really that bad, but I think 22.2 is a pretty decent time. Then the middle sector, which is very tricky. This is such a hard track. It's very demanding for your concentration and stuff like that. It's a really demanding track for a driver. It's very hard to make mistakes, as these 2 corners here are crucial, and the car in front of me gets it completely wrong there. Luckily it didn't really put me off, and I kept going. 28.6 middle sector, that's more like it. 28.5 is a decent time there, so I'm not doing too great in terms of time, but it's obviously still Q1. If I can get into the top 10, I will go through into Q2 and do another lap there, which will basically divide me for the race and my position. Final corner to go, pretty decent. That was a pretty good final sector as we're going to cross the line now. So DRS is wide open. 1 DRS on here on this track. DRS wide open for the run through the line. And here we go. It's a 190.8, which puts me in 5th position currently, as you can see on the top there. 5th position, and I can tell you that indeed I went into Q2. I think I stayed at 5th position. So Q2, different rules here. Park Fermé is enabled, which means the setup you're going to use now, you have to use that setup as well in the race, as my teammate Adrian Falcon from GhostSpeed heads out on track first. You have only 1 lap to get it right, so the tension is really high. The pressure is on as Adrian Falcon goes out on track first to actually do his lap then. So as I said, 1 lap to get it right, and as I said before, it's incredibly hard to get a good lap in this track. It's so hard to make no mistakes. A perfect lap here almost doesn't exist in my opinion. Now, before we start our hot lap, I can tell you that my PB coming into this session, so my personal best was a 119.1, I think it was, which was a pretty decent time, but I was aiming for a 19.4 during the qualifyings. Now I did a 19.7, I think it was, or a 0.8. Was it 0.9, maybe even, I don't know, in Q1. Anyway, it was enough to keep me alive for Q2 basically, and go in Q2. As you can see me there, I'm the 3rd guy on track, so the 3rd guy to do a lap. First it's Adrian Falcon, then it is Miko, I think, Miko Swokas, and then it's me then here. So preparing myself for my lap, doing, well, obviously you don't want to push too hard, as your tire degradation will, it's not too high on this track, but your performance will drop definitely. So don't do any silly things here, just keep your tires in a clean way, if you could describe it like as that. So couple of more brake tests here. and then get on the throttle here out of this final corner. This is really important. Got a good exit over that corner, so here we go. Then opening up the DRS as you're driving on board with me. DRS is wide open for this run, and here we go. Then the start of the lap begins now. So it's qualifying 2. Here we go. The first corner we went just through. It's the tiny left-hander, and now we go left, right, left. Nailed that pretty much. It was pretty sweet. Took a lot of curb there on turn 4 too, which is pretty nice. Then we head into this section, take a lot of speed into these corners, and then a quick direction change to the right there. Nailed that beautifully, and I do a 22.3, which isn't too bad. So here we go, going through the hairpin, pretty stable there. Get as early on the throttle as you can as you go uphill now. And this next left-hander which is coming up is so tricky to get it right. If you nail this one, you're on for the good lap. And I think I nailed that one pretty nicely. Could get it maybe a little bit more on the throttle in the exit, but I want to keep it safe there. So these 2 corners now also very, very important. Nailing these 2 corners, well, couldn't get it really any better there, as we do a 28.5 middle sector, and that is pretty much on the pace. That is a good sector. Take a lot of curb here as much as you can, and then have a good exit there. I got a little bit of oversteer, not too much though, as we head now into the final couple of corners, as there's someone who lets me through. So the braking zone here goes downhill. Another great corner there, running a little bit wide, and same for this corner. Didn't really nail my apex, running again a little bit wide, but it didn't cost me too much time, I think. So opening up the DRS once again, and then for the run through the line, and it's a 119.7, which puts me in pole position at the moment, provisional pole position obviously, as there were only 2 guys in front of me who completed that lap. So looking at the replay here, running quite wide on the exit there of that corner, and that cost me actually time. I did a point 28.9 actually, 28.9 final sector, and the 28.6 is really what you want to get there. So I lost 3/10 there, I think, as we have a look at Rens Klopp on board. He's currently doing a lap. He's really quick usually. He does a 22.2 quick first sector, so he's quicker than me at the moment. But I made a mistake there in those final couple of corners. I ran wide a couple of times, missed my apex quite a bit, and that definitely cost me time. I could have gone 3/10 faster there. That's really average, 28.6, and I just couldn't do it, unfortunately, and I lost 3/10 there. And look at that, Rens goes quite way there. I think he lost a little bit of time there as well, as he does a 28.6 millisecond, so he's about 1.5 tenths off me right now. So let's see what Rens Klopp can do as he goes through the final corner, and he will open up this DRS for the run through the line, and here we go. So can he beat my time with 119.7? He does a 119.7 as well, but he's slightly slower than me. Rens Klopp goes second at the moment, which is a surprise, because Rens Klopp is really quick. And now Jorik Borshoff, another very quick guy, and he goes actually third with a 19.8. It says second at the top of the screen, but actually he went third because Rens Klopp had his time later on. So that is a pole position for me, and could you believe it? I couldn't actually. I wasn't really happy with that lap because I wanted to get quicker in the final sector. Couldn't do it. I definitely lost 3/10 there, and if you count up those 3/10 on my current time, that would give me a 19.4, which was indeed where I was aiming for. So was very, very surprised with that pole position, to be honest. It's my first pole position after done 3 qualifyings, and really happy with that. After the race where I struggled in China, I just had to perform well here, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in the race probably, as we have the formation lap right now. So this is something very, very unusual for me, starting from that first place. Didn't expect that at all. I mean, I basically reset everything, and after the round in China I knew it wasn't going the right way, and I had to do something different. So what I did is I created a complete new setup, started from scratch. Basically all the data I gathered from the previous round, so Bahrain, did a few laps at Malaysia and China too. I deleted that, started from scratch. As look at this, by the way, we have the championship standings right now at the bottom of the screen. You can see me there. Jorik is leading currently from Rens Klopp by only 5 points, and I am in 8th place there with 40 points. Those are the only points I have scored, and that was in Bahrain with the 2nd place. So starting right now from 1st position, and I was really happy with that, as I said, but I knew that I wasn't really comfortable in the race. The race pace was pretty good, but I just couldn't get consistent, and that is the problem with me on this track. It is such a demanding track and so hard to keep your concentration level up high and make no mistakes. But we will see how it goes into this race, as we see me then there in 1st position. Then it's Rens Klopp, Jorik Borshoff, Adrian Falcon in 4th. So that means the top 4, 3 out of those cars are GhostSpeed drivers, which is really good actually. So top GhostSpeed first, third, and fourth, and it's very important for Yorick now to finish ahead of Rens Klopp, his rival really here in the Pro Series, as they are battling out for the first couple of positions, for the lead really. Daniel Brewer in fifth. Mike Partington is 6th, the person who crashed, remember, at China. Christoph Schoer 7th, Carlos Hernandez 8th, Miko Swokas 9th, and we see Sebastian Velosa in 10th. So that's the top 10 here. As well, it was so unusual for me really leading the formation lap. I didn't knew whether I was going too fast, too slow, but I think I did a pretty decent job. At least that's what I hope. But I just didn't know whether I was doing the right thing or the wrong thing, but it seems to be all fine. So doing a couple more burnouts before we start the race, warming up those rear tires just slightly more to get a good launch. And what might be really crucial here is that Rens Klopp is going to start from the dirty side of the track, so that might give Jorik Boshoff then a really good chance to get by Rens at the start. So we will see what's going to happen as I do a couple more burnouts before I get in my grid slot. So there we go, going to neutral here. Making sure I set up my launch control so I can use that as everyone lines up then. So it's me in first position, Rens Klopp in second, Jorik Boshoff in third, and Adrian Falcon in fourth then. So there we go, 3 GhostSpeed cars in the top 4. James Sadler, another top GhostSpeed car. I think he's starting from the back of the grid after he had a penalty. So there we go. There's also someone starting from the pits, which we should see soon, as we're just waiting then for the cars to get on their grid slot. And the tension is rising right now. I was quite nervous, I can tell you that. I'm not gonna lie. I was quite nervous. As you can see, there's someone indeed starting from the pit lane. So here we go then, as we wait for the lights to come on, which actually takes a very long time. And I can tell you that my engine was slightly overheating as the lights go on. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and are out right now. You can see that my engine's smoking, it's overheating, and we are off. And look at Rens Klopp. Rens Klopp having a very poor start. Yes, Jorik basically already overtaken him, and it seems like I can lead coming into this first corner. As there's a crash behind, 2 drivers out, as we see a little bit of carnage with more smoke of overheating engines as that cooled down right now. So I'm cool right now, the engine is cool, and we are ready to go. So Jorik behind me then managed to gain a place on Rens Klopp, which is crucial for him for the championship, and it's now Rens Klopp behind him. Let's see what Rens Klopp's race pace is like, and it seems like Adrian Falcon has lost out there in 5th position he is now, so he lost his 4th position, and it is to Mike Partington. So Mike Partington having a very good start here, as I'm gonna have to focus now and try to pull out a gap to Jorik as much as I can before he gets DRS. So DRS is quite effective here, as I make a mistake coming into those 2 right-handers going wide there, and now Jorik is all over me again, and that was with the heavy fuel load. The car felt very unstable there, didn't expect that, and I was lucky to catch it, otherwise I would have spun, and it probably would have dropped me a lot of places. So here we go, look at Rens Klopp now back on the back of Jorik, trying to look for a passing maneuver, but he cannot do it right now, as we complete the first lap then, and I'm still leading. So that is good, but let's see if I can hold on to this then for 38 laps as we enter lap 2 right now. And let's see if I can then extend the gap to Jorik. After I made a mistake, I'm gonna have to extend the gap before he gets DRS. I'm gonna have to extend the gap and make it over 1 second, as we see Adrian Falcon in the background getting attacked. And I think Adrian still has that place if I'm right, but not sure. So there we go then. A little bit of carnage in the back actually of the field. Well, it was actually the mid pack, and I can tell you, I think James Sadler, another GhostSpeed driver, had a pretty solid start, I think, so that's good for him. So it seems like I'm slowly but surely extending the gap, and I can tell you that I was indeed extending the gap at the moment. I think it was just under a second though at the moment, but you can see Jorik struggling a little bit with the dirty air as well, which gives him quite a bit of understeer. I can confirm that indeed the dirty air on this track is quite horrible. With all these corners, some high speed corners and some low speed corners, it is really hard to follow someone with the dirty air. Because in the high speed corners you just have a lot of understeer, and in the low speed corners you can feel the downforce falling apart from you as you are behind the car. So there we go then, finishing lap 2 right now. It's looking pretty solid for me, and Jorik, it looks like Rens Klopp is quite feisty at the back of Jorik. So Rens Klopp seems like he has a good first couple of laps, and the tires should be up to temperature right now as we enter lap 3 and we go on board with Adrian Falcon and now on board with Rens Club. So there we go. You can see indeed that I have a slight gap over Yorick, but he will get DRS this lap, and I still think that he is within 1 second, as we see an incident up behind. And what happened there? Well, I can tell you that. There we go, Adrian Falcon was under pressure from, I think, Daniel Brewer. And look at this, look what happened. Look at that, there's just smoke, and having a look at the replay here, they just collided with each other as we have a look now on board with Adrian Falcon. And he just gets a big bump really from Daniel Brewer out of nowhere. Well, I don't think that Adrian has damage. Maybe his flap on his front wing is damaged or something like that, but he is able to go, although that lost him a few places, as he is now in 9th position and he's got some recovery to do. So I'm still in 1st position. You can see the gap there, about maintaining, I would say. Maybe Yorick slightly faster at this stage, as I run a bit wide there, missed my apex. So I'm starting to make a couple of mistakes, but these two corners here, these two right-handers are really tricky to get right under the heavy fuel, what's it called, under the heavy fuel circumstances. There we go. Now that chicane there is pretty tricky as well. I keep it in 3rd gear. A lot of people go with 2nd there, but I find 3rd gear the best, because it's just the most stable gear for me to go through there, and gives a pretty solid exit as well, I think. So here we go then, entering lap 4, and it does look like Yorick will have DRS on me. Let's see if his rear wing gets open. I think it is open, not sure. Yeah, so DRS enabled for Yorick then, as that will definitely help him closing me down this straight, as Rens Club will have DRS as well on Yorick. So both of these drivers now are starting to gain on me, as they have now the DRS advantage. So I'm trying to push, but at the moment, I will, to be honest and to be realistic, I just couldn't pull a gap from these two guys. They are awesome in the race, and to be honest, I did a lot of qualifying laps, because I knew qualifying was going to be important. Let's go a bit deep into that hairpin. I knew qualifying was going to be quite important. Passing on this track isn't easy with the dirty air. And after the poor qualifying in China, I didn't want to be in the midfield again, because the chance that you get a crash there is pretty big. So I focused on qualifying in the practice during this race, which seems to pay off. I mean, I was in pole position, but I didn't focus as much on the race pace. So let's see if I can do this. I did one race simulation before the race, and that's it. So it seems like Yorick is pretty close behind me, closer than he was last lap, so I'm losing time to him, as he will definitely be within my DRS range right now, as the DRS detection point, I think it's around here, just before that corner if I'm right. And you can see Rens Club as well there, just looking behind Yorick, maybe waiting for a mistake, as Yorick is really close behind me now. He will pick up the slipstream and the DRS goes wide open for him. Can he take me? So here we go, I'm going in the middle of the track and let the Yorick decide what he wants. So he goes around the outside here. He already passed me before the corner, and that's the move done for Yorick. So Yorick moves up into the 1st position, and I lose position to Yorick now, as I have Rens Club all over behind me, and he will be pressuring me as we have a look at the replay then. So not a lot I could do. I had a very poor exit out of that corner, basically the same mistake as I made in qualifying out of that final corner. I had a poor exit, and that allowed Yorick to close me down, and then with use of slipstream and DRS, which is really effective, he goes around the outside there. I left him room on the inside too. I just went in the middle of the track really, and then let him decide where he wanted to go. So he went to the outside, and I took the inside, but he already passed me before the corner. So not a lot I could do there, but it's my teammate as well. I don't want to put up a big fight, and I knew that Yorick was in the championship fight here. So what I want to do is hold up Rens Club as much as possible now for Yorick. If he can pull away, that would be good for him, without having pressure from Rens Club, because I'm like in the middle of them obviously. So obviously I do focus on my own race as much as I can, but at the same time I knew that Yorick needs these points, and I probably knew as well that Yorick would be faster than me in this race. But we will see how it develops, as I'm trying to stick with Yorick now. But it seems like Yorick, you can see there that he extended the gap quite a bit as he bounces over those curves. You really want to do that, bounce over those curves. That's really the thing you want to do. Just cut those curves as much as you can, obviously not cut it too much, but there we go. So lap 5 out of 38, almost entering lap 6 right now. As once again I have a poor exit, so this might be the same overtake as Yorick did on me last lap, as Rensklop will have the DRS, but I will have the DRS too. You can see my flap there being open, but Rensklop has the slipstream advantage, which I don't get from Yorick, as Rensklop is round my outside right now. I have the inside for the next corner, but look at Rensklop breaking very late there, and he goes around the outside. Good job from him, but now I lose the downforce and spin around, and that's going to cost me a place. Probably 2 places really, and we have a look at the replay here. So a very good move from Rensklop. I've got to say that was really impressive, and just lost the downforce behind him, and you can see there then the effect of the dirty air as Mike Partington goes past me, and look at that, Miko Suokas gets past me as well. So I'm down in 5th position right now, which is not good at all for me. Having a look at that again with the T-cam, look at the Rensklop. That was a brilliant move, I've got to say. Plenty of space given from him to me, so I want to say well done to Rensklop. That was a really good and clean passing maneuver. And then I was just in the dirty air. Got a little bit over the curb, which is slippery as well. Got too early on the throttle, and that's it then. It's so easy to lose then the car once you go on the throttle too early and then within the dirty air. So I'm falling down to 5th position right now, and I knew that I had to do something as we run through the grid order a little bit more. We saw Adrian Falcon there in 8th place after he had that crash, and in 13th place we see James Sadler starting from the back of the grid. So a very solid job from him at the moment as well. James Sadler doing very well here actually. So I am right now down in 5th position as we enter lap 6. You can see Miko Suokas then up front. So this is a battle for 4th position at the moment. And you can see behind me that's Alessio Campos, who has a really good race I think as well. I think he started from like 13th position if I'm right. At least he started outside the top 10, that's for sure. And you can see him right now behind me as there goes Mike Partington having an awesome race right now as well. Rensklop here now on the back of Yorick as he will attack Yorick with the use of DRS. So we go on board with Yorick, looking behind him as we see Rensklop there getting closer and closer. So the pressure is on for Yorick, and we will see if he can keep Rensklop behind him. Although it looks like Rensklop has an awesome race pace, really strong driving at the moment from Rensklop. And coming back onto that move he did on me, that was just great around my outside. I didn't expect that, but at the same time, I am not really that experienced at the moment, and I don't really want to put up a big fight against people. Obviously, you do want to defend and not let someone pass quickly, but I just don't really know what the limits are currently on with the battles. I just need more experience. As we see a backmark up front there, whoa, that was really close. I almost touched him and collided on the back of him. He had heating issues as well. You could see the car overheating with a little bit of smoke as we have a look at the replay there. So look at this, this was really close. I had to back out of the throttle as well. Listen, just had to back out of the throttle there. I had my foot slightly on the brake when that happened because that was really close. Look at this, that was really close actually. And I got lucky there that I didn't collide with the back of him. That was a back marker. Meanwhile, we joined again with James Sadler, who was still in 30th position, as he was quite unsteady there through those couple of corners. Adrian Falcon right now is 7th place, so he is recovering as well. It seems like for all of us it's a recovering race, at least for me, for Adrian, and from James as well, who have to start from the pit. The only thing right now is Yorick, who is still leading I think from Rensklop, although they were having a battle. And I can tell you that I'm not going to show that battle. If you want to see that battle, then go ahead and see the broadcast, which FSR does. The live broadcast, I will put a link down into the description where you can see the race live being commentated. Obviously it's not live anymore, but you can still watch it back if you want. And I can actually tell you that Rensklop managed to pass Yorick. I think around this stage of the race he managed to pass Yorick, as we are in lap 10 right now, and I'm still in that 5th position behind Miko Suokas. And I can tell you that looking at the gaps during this race, I saw that Miko Suokas was closing Mike Partington down slightly as well every lap, just a couple of tenths. So I basically stayed behind Miko Suokas and then hoped that Miko Suokas would get by Mike Partington at the end of the stint maybe, or close the gap at the end of the stint. Actually, sorry about this, I forgot to mention this, but a one stop here seems the way to go, and the pit window is around lap 15, so you change around lap 15 from the super soft to the softer tire. I forgot to mention this as well, so apologies for that as well. The two compounds here are the soft and the super soft. So there we go, you can see me opening up the DRS, so I'm within the second right now of Miko Suokas up front. You can see me there hitting the ref limiter as my DRS is wide open, entering the first couple of corners, and the gap is closing down. And I can indeed tell you that I was closing down the gap more and more every lap, but I can tell you as well that I was compromised during this entire stint after that spin. Basically my tires were not up to temperature anymore. I had a few flat spots and the tire life was just decreased quite a bit. I mean, once you have that spin and you just slam on the brakes, you see your tire performance dropping by about 3%, which is quite a bit actually. So it takes some time before they get up to temperature again and like in the right operating window. I can tell you that they were in the right operating window at this stage in lap 11, but at the same time they weren't as fresh anymore, obviously. So you can see me there braking very late for that hairpin, but at the same time running wide on the exit, which definitely compromised me for the exit. So I braked too late, too deep into the hairpin, and it compromised my exit. And I wonder if I will have the DRS now. I doubt it, honestly, but we will see. So finishing lap 11 and starting to go into lap 12 now, and I hope you're enjoying this race so far with the TV style as well. I hope it's helping you to remember which lap we're in, when we're in the replay and stuff like that. Once again, a big thanks to Jamie, Epic Dutch Guy. Channel link will be in the description for making this awesome TV style. And I'm definitely gonna check if there's something more to do with the DV style, so we can see gaps and stuff like that as well. Although it will take me some work and probably some time too. So lap 12 of the race, entering lap 13 now. You can see a back marker up front. That's not Mike Parlet or anyone else. That's just a back marker. And I do have DRS on Mico Strogas. As you can see me there closing him down using the slipstream as well. And I'm too far back at the moment though. It seems like Mico Strogas has a very good straight line speed and just cannot get past at the moment. And the back marker, look at that. He's in the way a little bit of Mico Strogas as he pulls to the left hand side right now. Lets me through as well. So a big thank you to him. But I think Mico Strogas got compromised there slightly. And that actually closed me, made me closer to him. Closed the gap slightly as I go pretty quick into that hairpin. I can tell you that I was a bit quicker every lap in that hairpin than Mico Strogas. So it does look like I maybe run higher wings than Mico Strogas. So look at that Mico Strogas. I think he was a bit wide into that corner as well. But right now it is the time as well. I'm starting to pick up the dirty air. And you can feel that. Your car just becomes a bit more unsettled. And on the braking is pretty tough as well. So we enter this chicane right now. And look at this. Seems pretty stable so far. But I definitely felt that on the braking the car was much more unstable, as we are going to enter lap 14. So the pit window is around this lap. So it wouldn't surprise me if we see cars coming into the pits around this time for one stop and switch on to the softer tire. Bit of oversteer on the exit there, which compromised my exit. I don't seem to get that exit right out of that final corner. I've been struggling with that corner all race. In qualifying you saw it as well. I've just been struggling. I couldn't put the power down there either. And too far back at the moment, having a little look on the inside. But it doesn't make Mico nervous. He just keeps his line there. So fair play to him. As I'm in the dirty air, picking up more and more understeer through these corners. And you can definitely feel that. Look at that. I do keep my car there within on the track as I run deep into this hairpin though, almost colliding with the end of Mico there, and it definitely lost me a little time. So another mistake from me. It seems like every time I close down to him I make a mistake, and I just need to get used to this dirty air really. And you can see there's a car off, and that is actually a car, and that is not Mike Partington, but it is his teammate. So Victor Ivanov is off the track, and he had a very poor race. I think he had a few incidents. Not all of them were his fault, I believe, but you saw him driving there without a front wing. And look at this now. I'm going straight off there, straight on in the chicane. Managed to rejoin the track, but once again making a mistake. Having a look at the replay here, you can see me there, just car gets unstable. You can see the tires there as well, starting to get more and more worn. As you can see the black spots on the tire. And I can tell you that, being honest here, just brake too late for that corner. I tried to put the pressure on Mico at the end of this first stint, but I just couldn't do it, as once again I run deep into that corner. And I think it's about time to make a pit stop, as we are going to enter lap 15. Not going to make a pit stop right now, because then you're probably going to struggle on the softer tire to make them last throughout the entire stint. But definitely it looks like I'm struggling a little bit more, as we see Yorick here indeed in the 15th lap, as this will be the lap Yorick is going to pit, I can tell you that. But he has been overtaken by Rens Klopp, and the gap between them is around 3, well not 3, I think about 2.5 seconds, I think, if I see the visual distance at the moment. So Rens Klopp currently in the lead, and Yorick really if he can do it, he needs to try to keep up with him. Maybe undercut in the pit stop phase. As I right now, you can see me there falling back from Mika Sorokas after that mistake. And you can see Alessio Campos behind me close the gap slightly. As we see James Sadler off. James Sadler off as he was in 10th position. So he managed to gain a couple of places, but he is off. So what actually happened there? It seems like it was just his own mistake. Was it? We have a look at the replay here. No, it actually wasn't. Look at that. It was very, very close. A car spun in front of him, and James Sadler, look at this, that is so close, and great reaction times there from James Sadler, doing the right thing there. He couldn't take the corner normally there, so he went to the right hand side, and a fair play to James there. Really, really awesome job. As we can see two GhostSpeed drivers now behind each other there, James and Adrian Falcon. As we go back to me entering lap 16, Yorick has pitted. That's why I'm up to P4 at the moment. I think Mike Partington hasn't pitted yet. And the people around me neither, except for Yorick then. Don't know how about Rens, to be honest. Don't know if he pitted as well. But here we go, lap 16. And I can tell you that this was my scheduled pit stop. And having a bit of oversteer there. So yes, indeed, I'm going to pit this lap. And so we have a look at the replay there. Indeed, you can see me there starting to struggle. Back end becomes a little bit loose. And before you know it, you're off. So I better thought, just pit this lap. Tires are starting to fall off. I'm gonna have to pit this lap, otherwise we will be losing too much time and taking too much of a risk losing the car. But you can see Alessio Campos being really, really strong at the end of this stint, and I'm actually losing the pace at the end of this stint. So I'm gonna have to pray really that I have a better, softer stint, a better second stint of this race. So looking back on Mika Sorokas, that's not me behind him, that's a back marker actually, and then it's me there bouncing over those curves alongside Alessio Campos as well. And you can see there, that is Yorick. That is I think it was Yorick. So Yorick almost having a full pit stop advantage on us. And I can tell you indeed that both Rens and Yorick were about 14 seconds ahead as they pulled into the pits. So now it's my time to pull into the pits. And here we go, going right here. Make sure I activate the pit limiter just before the pit limiter. There we go, the pit line. And this pit lane is pretty tricky as it's very slippery, but I luckily don't make a mistake here. So we're in my box, switching to the softer tire. And you can see there, Mike Partington exiting the pits right now. He is in provisional 3rd place, so that's my target. I still want to get a podium here if I can. There goes Mika Sorokas exiting the pits, who comes on screen right now. There he goes through the screen, and now it's me right there. And look at that, Alessio Campos had a really, really good pit stop, and he is all over me right now. He's definitely within the second range of me, so I might even lose my 5th place here if I don't pay attention. I'm gonna have to push right now straight away and have a look at these onboard images. You can actually see straight away that I'm much more confident on these softer tires than the super soft tires. Why? Well, basically these tires are obviously fresh, but I don't know, after that pit stop I just reset my mind. And I thought, let's just give it all again and see where I end up. So I'm taking a lot more risk now into the corners, taking much more speed into corners. And you can see that the gap to Alessio Campos is just already increasing after a couple of corners. And you can see Mika Sorokas up front there as well. I think visually that gap is decreasing too. So I'm doing a very good job right now. If I can keep this up, we might close down Mika Sorokas and battle him for 4th position. The gap between Mika Sorokas and Mike Partington up front, him, who's in the podium position then, as I run a bit deep into the corner, is about 4 seconds, I think, to be honest. Maybe even more. So Mika Sorokas wasn't able to close down Mike Partington at the end of the previous stint. So Mike Partington showing that he has a really good pace around this track, especially race pace. He's really good. Still in 3rd position, which might give him his 1st ever podium position. But I won't let it happen. I will fight for it if I can. Although the gap between him and me is about, I think, about 10 seconds, if I'm right. Maybe a little bit less, maybe 8 seconds, something like that. As there's a back marker in front of Miko, so that's not Mike Partington. But you can see in the mirrors there that I'm starting to increase the gap to Alessio Campos as there's a car off, and decreasing the gap to Mika Sorokas. So I'm gonna have to put the basically I'm gonna have to keep this going. And I can tell you that here I have a notepad here, or a note block. I made this while I was watching the replay. Lap 18 I did a 122.2. Yorick did a 124.0. He must have had some traffic. Rens Klopp did a 129.9. So Rens Klopp was, over the course of this lap, 3/10 faster than me, which means I'm 3/10 slower than him, than the leader during this lap, but at the same time 1.8 seconds faster than Yorick. But I do believe he had traffic though, so that's not a relevant lap. But at the same time, it does look like I'm pretty quick here as we enter lap 19. And looking again on my note block, Rens Klopp, or I did this lap 13 at 22.5. Rens Klopp, I did a 22.5. Yorick did a 23.3, and Rens Klopp did a 22.9. So I think they are in traffic, but I'm 4/10 quicker than Rens Klopp, the leader, during this lap. So I think I'm currently the fastest car out on track, and you can see that the gap between me and Miko is decreasing a lot. So I'm pushing pretty hard here, try to make no mistakes, and that's so easily made around this track. We are halfway through the race, and I was not really having problems, but I did find it very, very difficult to focus. It's a very demanding track for your condition, really. I mean, you have a lot of corners following up each other, and your wrist starts to hurt. And at the end of the race, I felt with every downshift I made, my fingers started to hurt, and it was really that tough. But at the same time, it was really good. I never experienced something like that, and I found it really, really awesome. So right now I'm within 1 second of Miko. I will get the DRS down the straight. So can I pass him here, as I'm trying to get in the slipstream as well. We have a back marker behind us, but it seems like I'm too far back at the moment. Although I'm looking really, really strong on this soft tire. Much better than the first stint on the super soft tire, as I am indeed pretty close to him now. As lap 20, going to have a look again at my notepad. I did a 123.1. Yorick did a 123.3. Rens Klopp did a 122.2. So Rens Klopp was 8/10 quicker than me over the course of this lap, but you will see the reason why I was slightly slower this lap compared to my previous laps, because I'm obviously starting to pick up the dirty air right now, which will compromise my lap times, as we have still 18 laps to go. So 18 laps to go to still get a podium finish here, and that was really my target, my aim. As my voice almost starts to go, I've been talking a lot really, but it is a really good race in my opinion. As you can see, that dirty air, I had to slow down mid-corner, had to wait before I got on the throttle again. As you see a back marker up front, is that going to influence Miko? Not really, because the back marker goes off the track there. And no, Miko, ooh, look at that bit of oversteer as I'm in the slipstream of the back marker, trying to pick up every single millisecond really I can in order to close the gap to Miko. As we see more smoke up front, that's from another back marker. As we look onto the back of Miko, onto my car, and once again you can see me, there's a back marker off, by the way, struggling with the exit out of that corner, once again going wide in the corner. I missed my apex the whole time, meaning that the exit was a lot wider. And look at this, no, cannot get past yet as we enter lap 21. But I am as close as I have ever been during this race, so this might be my chance as I start to pick up more and more dirty air. But at the same time, I started to pick up more slipstream as well then on the straights, which hopefully should help me then in the straights. So once again, look at this, pretty nailed that hairpin. And pretty close behind him now, although I will pick up a lot of dirty air over the course of this corner here. I mean, the dirty air effect is really bad here, but it seems like Miko didn't have the best corner ever through that corner. So these two right-handers here, if I can nail these ones, I will be very close, and I indeed nailed them pretty much, and I'm very close to Miko now, putting the pressure up. I will have DRS at the end of this lap. So here we go, bouncing over these curbs, and Miko has gone wide. Miko right off the track, and this will give me the opportunity, going alongside him, having a better exit out of that chicane as we go side by side into the next corner, which will be left-hander. I will be on the inside there. Can I make it stick? If we have a look here, no contact made on the inside, and that's the move done on the inside of that corner. Miko was on the outside, and I tried to squeeze him a little bit there as much as I could within the regulations, obviously. Tried to squeeze him there as that corner is indeed pretty tight. As we have a look at the replay, tried to squeeze him slightly, give him no chance to still hang it around my outside, and it worked out beautifully. No contact has been made during this battle. Have a look here. Just Miko, I think he knew that it was over there. There's no way you're gonna stick it around the outside there. And that's the move done. So up in 4th position. And now I have DRS as well. Look at that. I have DRS because I was behind Miko when we went over the DRS detection point. So that move really worked out perfectly for me, as we are in lap 22 right now. Just 16 laps to go to catch up with Mike Partington. As you saw me there having a little slide in my attempt to increase the gap to Miko, and at the same time decrease the gap to Mike Partington, who we see here. So look at that, you could just barely see me there in the background. It's still a really big gap, but I knew I could do it because I was having a terrific pace really on these softer tires. The second stint on board with Mike Partington, making a mistake here as he goes right off track. So is this my chance then, as he is in the gravel trap? Here I come, and here I come indeed. So around the outside here for this corner, and yes, I can take him. I can take him for the third position, not obviously the first, but the third position, a podium spot, and I am back on the podium as we enter lap 23. 15 laps to go. Neither of us will have DRS over the course of this lap, but if Mike now can stick with me within 1 second again, he will have DRS. So I'm gonna have to pull out a gap to him if I can, and hopefully I can make that work. Having a look at the replay, this is what I saw. I obviously saw Mike Partington going wide, getting excited, and then just overtook him there. I left him plenty of room. Same for Mike. I tried to stay a little bit more to the outside because he was on the inside. Tried to leave him room there on the inside. Didn't want to turn in on me. You never know what's gonna happen after someone has made a mistake and their tires are dirty. But luckily nothing happened there, and there was a clean pass for the podium spot then. So pretty happy with that, as I'm back in the podium spots now, but pretty much got that place gifted as we have a look at Yorick now. And here is Rens Klopp. So there goes Rens Klopp through screen, as there was James Sadler too getting lapped. And look at the gap that Rens Klopp has over Yorick. There goes Yorick, as seems like Rens is pretty much settled for a win here if he doesn't make a mistake. And now it's waiting for me to come flying through screen, as there I am. Right there with Mike Partington behind me. Then it's Mikko Swokas. Then it's Alessio Campos, I think. Yes, that's indeed Alessio Campos. And is that Sebastian Filosa? I think if it is, he's doing a really good job during this race. So there we go, up into third position, but can I keep it? I do a 122.8 in lap 28, which is a reasonable pace. And you can see that Mike Partington just completely dropped out of sight behind me, as he, I think he made another mistake. I think he went off track, lost his front wing, and that let Mikko pass. But you couldn't see Mikko either in the background, so that probably shows that my pace is pretty good. And I can indeed tell you that I was actually faster than Yorick during this stage. I think around lap 20 the gap between me and Rens Klopp was 21 seconds, and it went down to 17 seconds, as I think Rens Klopp was just cruising. And now at the end of the race, Rens Klopp was again increasing the gap between him and me, as we have another car off. That is Victor. I think, yeah, that is Victor, the teammate of Mikey, and got past him, but oh, making a mistake, concentration mistake there, as I'm off the track and rejoining the track now. Let's see if Victor is going to pass me. No, he doesn't. He backs out of the throttle, so thank you, Victor, for that. Otherwise I would have lost time there if he would have passed me. But having a look at the replay, concentration mistake, as I saw Victor going wide there. Missed my apex there, got on the curb, which is slippery, got oversteer on corner entry, and I got lucky once again, and I just kept it on track and still managed to keep going really. So coming back onto that gap, Rens Klopp has been or is going to extend the gap again over the final couple of laps. Just 9 laps to go, and the gap will get back to 22 seconds again. So at the same time, the gap to Yorick, as we enter lap 36, basically nothing has happened at the moment. It's Alessio Campos in fourth. So Alessio Campos managed to overtake Mikko Swogas. Great job by him, as we see Adrian Falcon now in 6th place. So he managed to recover a few positions. As we go back to me here, lap 36, and I have been decreasing the gap to Yorick, as Yorick is right there, and you can see me right now there. Going through screen right now, so it looks indeed visually closer as Yorick went through screen right now. There he goes, as we have a look at this again. So there goes Yorick. We wait for a second, and there's me. So the gap is closer. Gap is around 6 seconds right now, which is still too much to close down, obviously, in 2 laps. As we see a little bit of debris on track there as well, on the right hand side, on the right hander here, right there's a little bit of traffic, debris aboard of Trustmaster, as Victor, that is once again Victor losing his front wing, as there was more debris on track, which I actually touched right there. I touched the debris slightly, and I didn't know whether I was having damage right now. So what I did is I did a little bit of weaving right here to feel if the car was alright, and the car felt alright. You never know with debris, it might, you know, might destroy your front wing slightly or give you damage. As I went over that debris, I think it was a debris from Victor's front wing, but not sure. As we enter lap 37, still third position, and seems like that's the maximum I can do during this race right now. Entering lap 37, there we go. And the gap to Yorick is indeed decreasing, but at the same time I asked Yorick at the end of the race if he was still pushing, and he said no, I was cruising. So that's the reason why I probably closed him down. As we enter the final lap of the race right now, just gonna keep it together for one more lap. Keep concentrated, as we see Rensklop there flying through screen as he has a lot of back markers behind him. I think that is Yorick. No, that's not Yorick. So look at the gap Rensklop has. Rensklop, an amazing race pace here for the Twister car. There goes Yorick, and there is me. Final lap of the race, and as I said, Yorick was coasting at this race. I wasn't coasting. I'm gonna be realistic and honest here. I wasn't coasting. I wasn't pushing either. I was just driving normal, because I know out of experience that once you start to coast a little bit more, start to get relaxed, your concentration level starts to drop, and that can be fatal around this track. You have to stay focused, and in order really to make no mistake. As we see Rensklop going through the final corner, and he takes home a dominant win and a well-deserved win as well. Twister Racing here, Rensklop takes home the victory at Imola, which will give him a boost for the championship for sure, as we see back markers behind him finishing the race as well. And we see Yorick Boshoff now doing an awesome job as well, if I'm honest. He was disappointed because he finished behind Rensklop, and Rensklop was indeed pretty dominant, but at the same time I think Yorick did a good race, starting from third position, finishing second, and there is B, and I was actually weaving, and you can see Yorick there parking. You can see his disappointment really, and then on the other side you can see my happiness, as I was still happy. And you might wonder, why are you still happy with a third position after you started first? Because I think that this was the maximum I could do. Even if I didn't spun, even when I didn't spun, I think this was still the maximum. I think still Rens and Yorick would have got me eventually, as they seem to be really strong in terms of race pace. So I'm happy that I made progress from China qualifying to Imola qualifying, but now I'm gonna have to make progress in race pace as well for the next race. The next race will be Montreal, Canada, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, and you can see me there just celebrating a little bit, let the back end slide out a little bit, doing a bit of the burnouts, and that's it for this race. So lap 38 out of 38, I was really tired, I was exhausted at the end of this race. It was really a tough race, my hands were hurting, but at the same time it was worth it. So here we see the official results, and in the end finishing a long way behind Rensklop. Same for Yorick, 18.4 seconds. That shows that Rensklop was really dominant in this race, and I've got to say well done to Rensklop. Amazing performance by him, and I'm just being honest. I mean, there was no way I could have matched his pace today. So here we see a few more statistics. Mike Parley in the end getting the fast lap, but that was because he lost his front wing, had to pit again. So that's very unfortunate for him, as he was doing really well, and then went on to the super soft to set a good lap time. So that's it for me this race. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I really think that it was the maximum. I'm gonna try again the maximum for Montreal, and I'm happy with that recovery. I didn't have the best first stint on the super soft. That stint was actually pretty poor, but I made up for it, I think, in the second stint with the softer tire. I'm just really happy with that stint, and that stint couldn't have gone really any better, if you ask me. I was on the pace slightly slower than Rens. Rens basically faster than me, consistent every lap. I mean, Rensklop, he isn't only quick, he's also really consistent. Coming back to Yorick, I think Yorick has done a really good job this race, and I hope that Yorick will what's it called? Will overtake Rensklop again in the championship. But it at the moment seems like Rensklop is in the league of his own. Really awesome job by him in the race. And maybe if he didn't make that mistake in qualifying, he would have got pole, as it was really close between him and me. So I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. I definitely hope that I have helped you a little bit with the TV style, or the TV overlay, if you could call it like that. Once again, a big shout out to Epic Dutch guy Jamie, doing an awesome job with the TV style there. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time for next league race, which will be in 2 weeks time. In 2 weeks time, 2 weeks time, 2 weeks time at Canada. So thanks for watching. If you have enjoyed it, I would really appreciate a like, and that's it. See you guys next time. Goodbye.